Hey friends, it's Melanie. What is up? Today I am doing a crafting video, but not just any crafting video. It's kind of going to be an introduction to crocheting. So I tried to keep it as concise and including the bare necessities. Crocheting 101, what you need to know when you start it. But other than that, I'm going to put all the timestamps below so it's easy to find. Hopefully this video helps you guys. Other than that, let's get straight into this video.
Alright guys, so we're starting off with the most basic stitch out there. This is pretty much going to be the basis of all crocheting pieces, and it's also going to be in almost everything you crochet. So you're going to start off by just doing a little slip knot, which you can see I did here, and tightening it onto your hook. This is how I like to hold my yarn and my hook when I crochet. I just like to hold the main loop down with my ring finger and thumb, and then I like to use my pointer finger and my middle finger kind of to hold the yarn. As you can see, it's kind of a circular motion with the hook, so you want to kind of twist it as you're going. It just makes it a little bit easier. Most of crocheting consists of yarning over and pulling through, which can be seen even with these chains. Yarning over is the motion of pulling the yarn kind of around the hook, and then pulling through is kind of self-explanatory, but just pulling it through the hole you've created. And this is kind of how you count your chains if you lose count. Next, onto the single crochet stitch. This is a stitch you'll use if you kind of want a tighter knit. After you have your chain, you're going to do one extra chain. You're just going to skip one loop and go over into the next loop. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both of them. After that, you're just going to continue to go into the next loop, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through both loops. Sometimes it'll look a little weird in the beginning after you've turned your work and just started on a new row, but after doing it a couple times, as you can see here, you can start to see the row kind of form, and you will definitely start to get the hang of it. So this is what one row of single crochets look like, and then this is what the back of the row looks like. To continue on to the next row, you're just going to chain one onto the end and then flip your work around. And then once you put your hook through the holes, you're going to want to put it through both top holes, as you can see here. This is kind of a style preference, but I typically put it through both top holes, and you will see what it looks like at the end of the row. Other than that, you're just going to continue the same pattern of doing single crochets all the way to the end of the row. Next, onto the double crochet. You're just going to want to start by chaining two and flipping your work. And then the main difference here from a single crochet is that you're going to yarn over once before you put your hook into the holes. After you've gone through both top stitches, you're going to yarn over and pull through. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through two stitches, and then yarn over and pull through the last two stitches. This one can be a little confusing, so looking at it one more time, after pulling through, you're going to make sure you have 3 stitches, yarn over, pull through, and have 2 stitches, and then yarn over and pull through one more time. Here you can see me repeating the stitch a couple more times as I go across the row. After finishing the row, you're going to chain 2, flip your work, and then continue the same pattern you've been doing. As we work our way up from a single crochet to a double crochet, you'll see that the stitch is just a little bit taller. I find that this makes it easier to crochet more surface area quicker, but it also adds more stretch to the piece that you're crocheting. Onto the treble or triple crochet. You're going to start off by chaining 3 and then flipping your work, and then you're going to yarn over twice, which is kind of like twisting your hook around the yarn twice before putting the hook through the top 2 stitches. After you've yarned over and pulled through, you should have 4 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through so that there are 3, yarn over and pull through so that there are 2, and then yarn over and pull through, and you will be finished with that stitch. As you can see, the treble stitch is even taller and spacier, therefore stretchier than the double crochet was. When you learn this stitch at first, it's a bit of counting, but just remember to always pull through 2 loops, and you're essentially going to be pulling through 3 times. As you can kind of see this pattern start to form, the single crochet, double crochet, and triple crochet are all pretty similar once you separate them in your brain. They kind of just build on each other. And I find that these 3 stitches are some of the most basic, and you can make so many different things out of just these stitches. To continue onto another row, you're just going to chain 3 and then flip your work, and then continue doing the same stitch pattern you've been doing. In this little square that I just made, I did 2 rows of each stitch that I taught you guys how to make. The top are treble crochets, the middle are double crochets, and the bottom are single crochets. And when I stretch it out like this especially, you can see how they differ. Okay, this one, the half double crochet, I actually should have put in between the single crochet and the double crochet height-wise, but I kind of forgot, so here it is now. You're gonna start off by doing a single chain, yarning over and pulling through. At this point, you will have 3 loops on your hook, and then you can just yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. And this is what it looks like once a row starts to form. So a slip stitch is usually used if you are connecting a chain to make a circle. This can be seen right here. Taking a closer up view of this, you are just going to put your hook through the stitch that you're connecting it to first, and then yarn over and pull through both. This can also sometimes be done if you're just making a row or just to see the technique. You can see here that I just put my hook through the next stitch over and then pull through both the stitch and the loop on my crochet hook. So crocheting ribbing is something that I wanted to add to this video because it's actually so simple and it's something that I feel like is used in a lot of clothing pieces. It's also something that we basically already know how to do just from the techniques learned earlier in this video. You're just going to want to start off by making a chain for however long you want your ribbing piece to be. Then you're going to chain 1 and start doing single crochets all the way across that row. Once you're ready for the second row, you're going to chain 1 and then turn your work. And the only difference now is that when you crochet, you're not going to put your hook through both top stitches, you're only going to put it through the back loop. Taking a closer up look here, you can just see that the back loop is the one that I am currently putting my hook through, and it is just the stitch that is further away from you. And then after a while of continuing to do single crochets in the back loop only, you will start to get a ribbing pattern like this. Alright, so I also wanted to include a way for how to connect granny squares or basically any pieces of crochet material that you may have made. There are various ways to do this, but this is the slip stitch method, which is kind of similar to some of the things we've learned in this video, and it's also the one that I use most frequently. In order to do this, you're just going to hold both of your granny squares together. You're going to want the yarn in the middle. Then you are going to put your hook into both back loops of each granny square and then pull your string through both of those. And this will eventually give you a very clean look where you can see another single stitch going down the middle of both of your connected granny squares. The last thing that I wanted to show you guys how to do is how to do a checkered print, and this will also teach you how to change colors. You're going to start off by making a simple chain of however long you want your piece to be. You just want to make sure that it is in multiples of 4. Once you've done that with the same color, you are going to chain 2 and then do 3 double crochets. Once you've done that, it is time to switch colors. This is actually really simple. Instead of using purple to finish off the last double crochet, you are just going to replace it with the next yarn, which I use is yellow, and then you are going to continue on doing double crochets. And then for the check-in pattern, you are just going to do 4 double crochets each color, and then when you have 2 loops on the last double crochet, you're gonna switch colors. Here you can see I'm also making sure to hold down the colored yarn that I'm not using with what I've crocheted already. This just makes sure that you don't have to weave in the ends later so that you won't see the strings in the back. Once you finished off the first row, you're going to stick with the same color, chain 2, turn your work, and then continue double crocheting. For the second row, you're basically going to match the color that you're crocheting on top of, or you could also count that you're doing 4 double crochets for each color. Here you can see what it looks like if you don't hold the opposite color down in the back. After you're done with your second row, you are going to switch colors to create the actual checkered print. This means that the next box on top of this purple one will be yellow, and then the box on top of the yellow one will be purple, and so on and so forth. Also think of it as having 2 rows of the same color pattern, and then you're going to switch. And this is what a finished checkered pattern looks like.
Okay guys, well thank you so much for watching. I really hope that this video was clear and helped you guys out if you're a beginner or a newbie with crocheting, and I wish you the very best with your journey. If you want to see any more crafting videos, make sure to subscribe here because I do quite a few, and also comment what type of crafting or DIY videos you want to see. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys, love you.
I know you wanna leave, so come on baby, be with me so happily.